Hey guys, it's me, Tiffany Parker, the owner of The Livable Forest and your event host for Boo Fest. Today we're going to go ahead and dive into what is expected for the upcoming Boo Fest. So we're going to talk about how I'm marketing the event. I'm reading my notes. How I'm marketing the event. We're going to talk about what content resonates most with the Boo Fest attendees. We're going to talk about load in and load out, parking and setup tips, and we're going to talk about vendor etiquette. So let's go ahead and get started. How I'm marketing the event. 1 month, actually less than 1 month out. So I do direct mail. I send out a double-sided flyer to attendees or residents of the area where we're hosting. So in this case, the Woodlands. I will send out a flyer. It's double-sided. It has Boo Fest, the Woodlands, and Kingwood, or it might have Boo Fest and then something else. But either or, it's going to have the event information with QR codes so they can say that they're attending on Facebook, and then whatever information is needed for them in that event. I feel like this is great. I do a 1 to 2 mile radius, so we cover a good, obviously not every single address, but we cover a good 1 to 2,000 attendees or residency within a 1 mile radius. So it's great from the venue. So Towns Green Park. This way people have seen it online and now it's on their fridge, so they can't not see it, right? So then we do Facebook and IG. I do share on my Facebook page, my personal page, and the event page. But I want to let you guys know the reason why I share it 3 times a day is because it takes the algorithm on these platforms. You got to do it like that so people can start seeing it. So this is why I tell vendors, when you're marketing an event, whether it's a Livable Forest event or any other event or even your own event, it's always better to share 3 times a day, at least starting from the month out, okay? I do this all year round, but for those who aren't that tech savvy, or not really tech savvy, they just don't like promoting things like that, even though they're attending, this is a great way. You should start doing this a month out from your events. So I do it in the morning. So around this time, like, let's say I'll do it like early in the morning, like around 8 or 9, share the event. Around lunchtime, between 12 and 2, I'll share the event again. And then in the evening time, after 5, so 6 to 8, I'll share the event again. By that time, the algorithm is catching up to what you're doing. And just imagine if everybody who attends does this, you would think everybody would do this when they attend. It will really help boost the engagement around the event. It'll also bring way more people out to the event because it's not just me promoting it, it's also the people that are involved. And that's one of the things that it's really difficult sometimes to drive home with vendors. And it's sometimes difficult to drive home with event coordinators too, that just because you pay for a booth doesn't mean your job ends there. Just because you pay for a booth and you have to set up and do all the stuff for your own particular business, you sharing the event is part of your business. It's part of your job description as well too. This is a team effort. So we as a team can't come together and promote this event so we are all successful. Then don't join the team. Okay? Don't join the team if you're not willing to be 100% dedicated and because I guarantee if you hire somebody or somebody says they want to be a part of what you have going on, you would want them to help promote too, right? You want them to put as much effort as you are into that project, whether that's promoting or showing up or whatever. So that's what I expect from my vendors as well too. I shouldn't say my vendors. I should say the vendors because I don't own y'all, but anyways, that's a whole nother conversation in itself. Okay, so we do that. We Facebook, IG. Look, I also encourage all the vendors that are participating to create event pages for Boo Fest for their particular business, because what you share in your event page is going to be vastly different what I share in mine. Why is this crooked? Okay. I don't share individual vendors, right? I actually share things that are updates and things that are going on at the market and stuff like that. Not necessarily individual vendors. I encourage you guys to create your event pages, because one, that boosts the event up in the algorithm and search on Google as well too. Like, even create Eventbrite. I don't have a problem with that, because all it does is help the overall event and everybody involved, and we rank on Google when people are looking for events in that area. Another thing that I do is I put event flyers in nearby shops. So I found that it's super easy to post, put a flyer up on the community boards, like in the libraries. There are some boutiques and shops that do allow you to do it, put it on their front door. But the issue with that is you have to go and sometimes when it comes to that, trying to help get the community shops around to help promote it, if they're not involved, normally they don't want to, which is fine. That's totally fine. I have no problem with that. So what I do instead is do what I think is better anyway, which is posting at Starbucks. Starbucks has usually most Starbucks have like a little, I'm trying to fix my camera. Okay. Usually a lot of Starbucks have those chalkboards with the magnets where you can post a flyer or whatever, as long as it's free to the community. So that's what I've done. I've done that out here in Kingwood, and I've done that in the Woodlands. So this time around, because we're less than a month out, I will be in the Woodlands going around the different shops and stuff like that, trying to get the flyer up. But I don't, like I said, I don't 100% rely on that. Like, I have my own means of media distribution as well too. And then I do in-app push notifications. They go directly to community members' phones and emails, as you guys know, because when I post in the Vend Like a Boss group, you guys all get notified. But when I send out a push notification, it goes out to all, what is it, like 1,500 of you guys now at one time. Whether if you don't have your notifications turned on, whenever you visit the app or not even log in, when you just open the app, the notification pops up anyway. So these are some things. Oh, we also have 1,500 email subscribers, so I go ahead and send it out through there as well too. So here are some strategies I'm using to make Boo Fest feel like the place to be this Halloween. I have 2 trackless trains. They're completely free for families to enjoy, 100% free. Any type of attraction that I have at my events, I pay for, thanks to you guys for participating as vendors. I take a good chunk of that money and I throw it into entertainment, predominantly for the kids, so they'll have something to do and keep them entertained, and keep parents from getting frustrated from kids being bored, and parents can shop while the kids go and do their thing. So we have 2 trackless trains. We have it's trick-or-treating at this event, so I expect all my vendors to have candy. Over the past 7 years that I've been hosting this event over here in Kingwood, one last year in the Woodlands, and we're going to have another one obviously in a couple of weeks, but I've noticed that there are vendors who just don't show up with candy. They just don't show up with candy, and I kind of feel like that defeats the purpose, and it also makes you look like you're not really into the participation part of the community aspect of it and the magic of it for the kids. You're really there for straight profit, fine. But I also feel like if you want to benefit and actually make money, you have to fall in line with what's happening with the event. So if this event is a trick-or-treating event and you decide, I'm going to come to Boo Fest and I'm not going to bring candy, or I'm just going to bring a bag of 25 pieces and once it's gone, you're just going to lose, because what's going to end up happening, and I will sit and watch, because a lot of people say their coordinators don't show up. I show up, I'm there, I'm walking up and down the venue, but I sit and I watch the vendors who I know didn't bring candy, and I watch people pass right on by, because their kids come not to shop. Their kids come to trick or treat. So when the kids stop at a booth to grab candy, and you can control how much candy they grab. I'm not telling you to let them grab a whole thing. You can literally give them one piece and put it in their bag, right? but they're stopping, the kids are stopping for the candy, which in turn the parents are going to stop. They're going to see what you have, and they're most likely not by themselves. They're probably with a group of friends, or mom and dad, or mom and girlfriends, dad and guy friends, or it's just a big old group of people with their kids. Some of those adults are going to stop to actually see what you have to offer, what to buy from you. But if their kids are like, they don't have candy, mom, they don't have candy, dad, because I've heard this, the parents say, okay, let's just go to the next booth. You missed out on an opportunity, whether that's an opportunity to sell something right there or later, or just giving out information. Don't do it to yourselves. I've seen it. The vendors end up upset. They feel like they'll tell people they didn't have a good event, or the event wasn't good, only because they didn't get the business they wanted, because they didn't comply. They didn't do what I told them to do that would make them successful at these events. I've been doing this a long time, so I know what's going to make you successful at these events if you follow directions, right? Okay, candy, bring an abundance of candy. I've had vendors who are really good at this, and what they've been doing is, ever since I announced Boo Fest, normally I announce it 1 year in advance, but what they've been doing is, like, maybe a month or two before the event, they just go buy on their regular grocery trip or their weekly grocery trip. They'll go to Sam's or Costco's and just go pick up one of those 1,000 bag pieces of candy and throw it in the cart. And by the time they do that 4 or 5 times in 1 month, they got an abundance of candy. They don't run out. Matter of fact, they have stuff left over. Hell, sometimes they're sharing it with the booth next door to them. Okay, listen, the candy is the big part. I'm telling y'all. Okay, so I also have a mini pumpkin patch for families to take photos, which is also free. If you were at Boo Fest last year, we had only 20 pumpkins last year, because I didn't really know how it was going to go last year. Actually, it went way better than I thought, like almost 20,000 attendees. Hopefully we get the same turnout, okay? But what I'm saying is, we have the pumpkin patch, and they were out there all on the ground taking pictures, had dogs and stuff out there with them all on the ground, laying down, taking pictures, lined up for days to take a picture, and all we had was 20 pumpkins and some blow-ups. This year we're gonna have like around 50 to 60 pumpkins out there. They're kind of pretty large pumpkins, and I think a couple of hay bales, some scarecrows, something like that, but I don't want to give too much away, because we have to have an element surprise. Okay, so we're gonna have the pumpkin patch, and they can take as many pictures as their heart's desire. I don't know who started a line, because I never said there was a line. Like, usually it's spread out wide enough to where people can just kind of like find them a little spot or whatever. But yeah, they had a line, and I don't know why. And the event is free to attend, right? So let's talk about what content resonates with the Boo Fest attendees. Visual hooks. Okay, visual hooks. Attendees are scrolling fast, so you got to capture their attention with bright, festive, or Halloween themed images and videos, animated boomerangs, or short video clips showing your products in action, booth decoration, costume props. That are all Instagrammable. Okay, so what this looks like in practice, because all of that sounds good, but in practice, what I would do is a reel of you creating products. Whether, I don't care if it's for another market, right? You're just creating products and then your caption can say, getting ready for Boo Fest, the Woodlands Boo Fest, or the Kingwood Boo Fest. You could do that. If it's even better if you're creating like a Halloween product or something like that. So also behind the scenes content, people like to see you getting ready, picking out your Halloween decor for your booth, going and shopping for your lighting, which, by the way, lighting, you can have whatever type of lighting you want. Just know that you want your booth to be illuminated, because it's dark out there. It is extreme. Like last year, if you didn't have booth lights, you were kind of screwed. You were screwed. You weren't going to see anything. So what I've seen people do, hold on, let me back up real quick. So behind the scenes content of you getting ready for market. Matter of fact, what I'm saying right now is something you should be doing anyway, because it's just overall good for your overall brand, because people trust people, not your product. Like, we don't care about your